14 days after being locked up, I was told that I was at a youth treatment facility for the suicide note that I had supposedly written. I didn't. I didn't. Out of everything that I've gone through, it still confuses me to today why 2 years ago this treatment facility lost a class action lawsuit. The province of Ontario determined numerous youth who were there did not meet the provincial requirements for being in a secure treatment facility. I did not know about this lawsuit until recently, so I wasn't a part of that. I read about the kids who were there. One of them was my profile exactly. Profile read mother-daughter conflict, diagnosis of ADHD. The province deemed the child to just need ADHD medication. This patient never committed a crime, never hurt herself, never hurt anybody else, but somehow they were put into this treatment facility. Another patient that was there was admitted for suicidal ideation or something, and the province's notes read that she was there because she was having unprotected intercourse, and this treatment facility accepted her because they deemed that if she couldn't be smart enough to use protection, that she was risking her own life. I was there for 6 weeks. When I went in, it was winter, and when I left, it was kind of warm, spring, and I remember seeing cherry blossoms when I walked out. During the 6 weeks that I was there, if I spoke at all, I would get in trouble. I never saw daylight. I never saw the outside, the outdoors. I was in this building, not being able to see out for 6 weeks. I remember there were a few kids who were able to go out. I actually spoke to one of them a couple weeks ago over on Facebook. I found them via a court document. I reached out to them and I spoke to them, and she was one of the kids that were allowed to go on day trips because she had been there for, I think, 2 months. But she was there for 8 weeks before she was allowed to see the sunlight. While I was there, we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Could not speak to anybody. We would have schooling. We would have school time. And it was only a couple hours every day. I don't even know if it was every day. And I remember the schooling being like little booklets of like 7+3 and simple things like that. Like it was, we were all teenagers. Met with a psychiatrist or someone, I don't know, twice when I was there. 2 weeks after being admitted, I spoke to them, and they told me that due to my pending criminal charges and my suicidal letter, that's why I was there, and my behavior there would determine when I would be released. It was in a big boardroom again with just this, I'm assuming was a psychiatrist, can't remember. They put me on antidepressants while I was there, and they made me really sick. And because of that, they put me on like a chicken and rice diet. I was petrified every day, every minute that I was there. I witnessed things that I don't even want to talk about. When I did get released, I was in such a state of fear that I just did whatever anybody told me to do. I went home with my parent and their fiance, and I hadn't seen a mirror in 6 weeks. My eyebrows were horrible. And the first thing that I did was take a razor and do this. I was just mortified that that's what I had looked like. My parent saw my eyebrows and said how disappointed they were in me because they had planned a spa day for me. And now they were going to cancel it because what's the point? Because I shaved my unibrow. And I didn't fight back. I apologized for ruining the plans. I didn't know about the plans, but I was sorry about it. They said to me, if this is going to be the behavior, you'll just go right back there. I had almost no appetite when I came home because we ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner at this facility at specific times, and they were really small portions, which I'm sure meet the Canadian food guide, but my parents had much larger portions. I remember my parent trying to force feed me a banana after I had had breakfast an hour earlier, and I said I couldn't, I wasn't hungry. And I remember them calling the place, pretending to call the place and say that I was showing suicidal behaviors again because I didn't want to eat a banana. And I returned to school a couple days later, and there were rumors at that school about where I had been for the last 6-7 weeks. I heard from some people that they had heard I was in jail. I had heard from people that I was in a hospital, and I didn't know what to say. So I told them that my nan and pa took me on a vacation, and they believed it. And I didn't want people knowing these things. I was not allowed to leave the school property, and I had to stay in the office during class time because for some reason they didn't think I was safe to be in a classroom with other kids. Because I hadn't seen the outdoors or talked to anybody in 6 weeks, it was really overwhelming going back into a high school of chaos. I went home that night and pleaded with my parent to never send me back because it was so scary for me. It was an overwhelming environment after being where I had been. I went into that treatment facility having a horrible relationship with my parent, but I was mentally stable. I enjoyed school. I enjoyed being around peers. When I left, I was petrified of my parent. I didn't want to say anything. I was terrified that they would put me back there. And I was terrified of everything. I was terrified of leaving my room.